Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award winning Fearless Tarot and Tarot and Love, Consulting the Cards in Matters of the Heart. And I have signed copies of my books on my website, ElliotOracle.com, if you want to check that out. They make a great gift, and they really help you take a more fearless approach to tarot reading so that you're not dreading whatever card that you get. It is time for this week's Oracle reveal. So, yesterday on Instagram, I placed up a photo of three different animals and I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal's calling to you because that animal has your message. And the three animals were the camel, the tiger, and the seagull. So just ask yourself right now which animal seems to be nudging at you. That is going to be the animal who has your message. For those of you who picked the camel, the card says, trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. And camel is able to traverse through the desert, and it has those stores of water in its back. It uses its resources and really can get by allowing them to stretch. And so, this could be a time when you're being tested, when you're kind of going through the desert in your own life at this time, and you really do need to trust that you have the resources to get to your destination. First card is where it's best for Camel to place your focus this next week. And we get the King of Swords from the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. And the King of Swords is an archetype that can sometimes be a bit fixed. He can indicate that right now, maybe the desert you're going through is really based on rules, structure, organizations that are limiting you in some way. Maybe your heart really wants to be free and go in this other direction, and yet there's these external pressures that are sort of keeping you confined. The King of Swords can change, and he can change his mind, but he has to be persuaded through something that is logical, something that makes perfect sense and is practical as well. So, this might be a time when you will get to where you want to go, but you have to be really practical about it. You can't just be impulsive. And you may have to find a way to make that other pathway work for you through reason, logic, and research, looking at what information is out there. Whenever I see the King of Swords, I just want people to sort of break out of the status quo, however, even if it means you have to make a plan to do so. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And we get the Knight of Cups. And if the Knight of Cups is the messenger from your inner wisdom, well, he's the messenger of love. And he's also the messenger of your bliss. And he does tell you to follow your heart. And knights are often on a quest. So this could be a time when you're on a quest to kind of get away from the wicked king and follow your heart, follow your dream, break out of the confines of whatever might have been stifling you up until now. It's important that you don't give up on your inner wisdom, on your inner dream. And I just kind of feel as well, maybe the King of Swords, I shouldn't have called him a wicked king. He's more a rigid king. He's someone who really wants to see, how this all adds up in the end. So this might be a time when your head and your heart need to have a little conversation, and you need to both come into agreement or alignment about how you're going to make your best life happen. And the mythical archetype that's going to help you with all of this is actually Zeus, the good king of the gods. He's got the eagle on his shoulder, and he's able to look at everything from a distance. He's a spiritual archetype, and he really does tell you to allow your spirit to take the lead right now. Also, I kind of feel like you need to have that big picture view of your life right now. Don't worry about what the small king is telling you in your head. Keep an eye on what the big king is saying, on what the archetype is that's really helping you spread your wings or go towards your destination. You do have the resources that you need to complete the task. However, you're needing to get these two opposing parts of yourself back into alignment first. Next, we have the tiger animal spirit, and this card says you're being called upon to provide leadership, so trust that you're capable of doing so. And tiger is a leader, also a very independent big cat. It sort of goes off on its own, and it's not one that's going to be found in big prides like with lions. The tiger is more independent. And leadership, it sometimes does call us, but it can sometimes be a lonely place. Sometimes when we're making the decision that's best for us and we're not checking in with everybody else and we're not going with the crowd, sometimes we're running into resistance and even fear. And so Tiger could say, maybe trust what your heart is telling you and go your own road and believe it's right despite any opposition. First card for Tiger is, where is it best to place your focus? We get the Tower card. And everyone freaks out when they see the tower because they're like, oh no, I don't want things to change. And yet, that's the name of the game for life. The tower is nothing if not a prison. It's a system or a structure that's keeping you stuck. And the more we lie to ourselves and say, la, 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 everything's fine out there. I'm happy in this tower. It's actually really copacetic. And even though I'm hearing the lightning outside, every lie we tell ourselves, that tower gets taller by a brick, but it's unsustainable. Eventually, that universe will always send that lightning bolt to knock you out and bring you back to Earth and have you start from the ground up. I feel with this Tower card, especially for the Tiger, there is this call to go your own road. It might be a time to break out of the confines or the prison of a structure you've been established in. And even though it can sometimes feel deceptively comfortable in our towers of denial, the Tower card is telling you to be honest with yourself and to really look at what isn't built on solid ground right now. It's time to accept the ending of those things that are really holding you back so that you can really live a full life. Otherwise, you're just cheating yourself out of it. Next is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And we get the Sun card, the best card in the deck. The Sun reminds us that a new day will always dawn. And life is full of these moments. We get tower moments, but we also get sun moments. And I'm reminded of a saying that an old counselor gave me, and she said, Elliot, nobody gets a free pass in life. We might look at other people and say, oh, well, they got that, and what do I got? And oh, look at all the things they're doing. You don't know the tower moments they're about to experience. You don't know the things that are going to befall them. And so, too, sometimes we look at our own tower moments and we get so fixated on them that we can't see the forest for the trees. And the Sun is there from your inner wisdom to remind you that a new day will dawn. You've been happy before, you will be happy again. But the key is authentic happiness and not tricking yourself out of your real happiness by sort of telling yourself that this tower thing is actually this really great deal for you. And then we have the, mythic archetype that's going to help you get to your goal. And we have Hermes, the messenger of the gods. Hermes will come in with messages of how you're going to escape your tower. He might also just indicate that there's signs, signals, omens, things that are just constantly beating you in the head that are getting you on this new path. Maybe even this reading is doing that. And so what you're needing to do is look at the messages that you're receiving and really let them in. This might be a time to open your heart to what wants to flow through you instead of blocking that energy. I just feel with Hermes that there is communication in the mix, either divine or even just in the mundane, that you're needing to pay attention to help you be free of whatever's been restricting you up until now. And then finally, we have the Seagull animal. And this card says, now it is time for deep emotional healing. And Seagull flies over that element of water and the tarot and metaphysical symbolism. It always has to do with our deepest emotions, our feelings. And so Seagull may be calling you to look at those waters and to allow something to be felt. It can be very cathartic if you just let your feelings flow instead of numbing them, blocking them, or pretending that they're not really there. First card for Seagull is, where it's best for you to place your focus. We have the Seven of Swords, which is for me a card that says you need a strategy. You need a way to look at how you're going to deal with your life right now or your emotions and how you're feeling about it. Also, emotions can be really troublesome things if they're left unchecked and unconsciously they're just kind of, yammering on in the background of your consciousness, and they're causing anxiety or worry because you don't know the facts. You don't know what to do. Seven of Swords is saying it's time to combat any emotional blockages that you might be having by really coming up with a strategy, coming up with a plan, maybe a to-do list. And maybe it's just time to check those things off one by one as you get organized in your thinking. The advice from your inner wisdom this next week is death reversed. And death upright, it represents inevitable change. Reversed, it represents the same thing. But when the death card comes up reversed, it can indicate that there's resistance to it. It's like, I don't want to change. I don't want to face this thing. I don't want to be uncomfortable. And change is uncomfortable. And yet we need to accept that that is what's going on. And so I feel with death reversed, it's time to stop fighting the inevitable change. That change is coming one way or the other, and you know it. And you can either cooperate with that change and let it be a really nice blessing in your life, or you can have that change grab you by the hair, kicking and screaming through the whole thing, and it's still going to happen inevitably anyway. And so I just feel like instead of resisting what you need to transform, it's time to come up with a plan for how you're going to heal that. And that might be exactly what that emotional blockage really is. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Odysseus. And he's the journeyman who takes 20 years to get back home. And what is home in mythology? Well, it's our home base, it's our center. And so this might be this process where you're on this long journey to come back home to you and to stop resisting the changes that you've been needing to make. You might have known it for a long time. And this isn't a reprimand like, well, shame on you for resisting your change. It's more just an awareness of, okay, yeah, this does need to change. And I'm going to stop using the wily tricks of Odysseus and outsmarting the change by trying to rationalize it away. It might be a time to accept it and accept the journey. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you do like my readings, you can always schedule a one-on-one tarot session with me at my website, elliotoracle.com. And also to all my YouTube viewers, I want to thank you so much for the donation button that you've been hitting, and also the growth that the channel has been going through. It's been really wonderful. So please do like, share, and subscribe if you found this message useful. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you again here next time, so do take care.